To the campaign trail now. Donald Trump is campaigning in two key states today. He'll kick things off with a rally in Jacksonville, Florida, before heading north to North Carolina, where he will hold two campaign events today. He is currently essentially tied, as you can see here, in the polls there in the state with Hillary Clinton. For more here, Jason Miller is a senior communications advisor for the Trump campaign. Good enough to join me now to preview a final 5 days, the mad rush to next Tuesday here. Jason, we appreciate the time today.
Well, thank you very much. And we are in the home stretch for sure.
Indeed we are. And down the stretch they come. And so in listening to your candidate on the stump yesterday, at one point there was a very particular soundbite where it sounded as though and however counterintuitively, he was positioning himself as an underdog now 5 days out. Where do you see things then, and how accurate perhaps a characterization was that by Donald Trump?
Well, we feel very good about the race. The race is really closed in the last week and a half, and in many places where we've gone ahead. Where I'd say kind of getting a little more to literal of kind of where we feel. I'd say very confident. I think we feel very good, and I think the biggest thing is the reason that we're presenting a positive message at the end. A number of stories over the past 24 hours talking about how Secretary Clinton has moved away completely from a positive message, just going on the attack. When you look at the key battleground states, when we talk Florida, North Carolina, Ohio, we feel very good. We'll be hitting all those again before actually Mr. Trump is in Jacksonville this morning, and then Jacksonville, Florida, and then 2 stops in North Carolina. His wife Melania is in suburban Pennsylvania today, giving a big speech at 2. But then we're also on offense. We're looking very good in a number of states traditionally viewed as blue states. New Mexico, where I think we have a darn good chance to win. Brand new polling out of Colorado showing a dead heat. And in New Hampshire this morning, Boston Public Radio has us ahead by a point. And so when you look at the key indicators of where the race is moving, both on the topics that we're talking about, our positive message, and in the early state, the polling numbers, you've got to feel good. But it's look, it's 5 days. A lot of things can happen. You got to stay focused.
So you just mentioned a lot of places where then it would seem that if Donald Trump made an appearance in these states, these places where you feel good, they could go either way, it certainly would help things. I want to ask you then about a point during his speech last night in Pensacola. He said, and I quote, my geniuses said, Mr. Trump, sir, don't come here. Everyone's voting for you there. You don't need to go there. You've got their vote. And I said, that's why I want to go there, end quote. The crowd did eat it up. But quite simply, what was Donald Trump doing in the Florida Panhandle yesterday?
Well, Florida Panhandle, well, I mean, I'm not a genius, so he probably wasn't referring to me in that one. But I mean, the Florida Panhandle is a place where we see some great pickup opportunity, growth potential when we talk about Democrats and independents. Big pro-military area. We have a lot of support. Senator Jeff Sessions from Alabama, who's just right next door, that has a big following support base in the area. But it's really someone, as we talk about the America First foreign policy, as we talk about taking care of our veterans, it's an area where we think Mr. Trump's appeal goes far beyond.
But
just
not even in a swing district, Jason. I mean, he was appearing in a place where aren't there other priorities? I mean, we have 5 days to go here. I mean, well, and he's been appearing in some historically blue states again, albeit states that will have to turn. But it's he said it himself. It sounds like there's another path being suggested by those close to him.
So our pathway clearly goes through Florida. Yep. Florida's a state that we need to win. Yep. And so Mr. Trump started the day yesterday with a big rally in Miami, which is obviously Miami-Dade leans more Democratic, but we can do great, particularly with the Cuban-American community. Then we had our midday event in Central Florida, in Orlando, the key I-4 corridor, which, as you know, is the true swing part of the state.
His focus Orlando, on the state Tampa. Has been
and then
inarguable.
Pensacola, as we get up to the Panhandle, we get up to the military area. That's a place where, like I said, we think that with our message, we can get a lot of Democrats to cross over. And look, this is a hunt for votes everywhere. And so we're going to go and get them.
And let's talk about Virginia, a state that, according to some reporting by our Major Garrett yesterday, there are those within the campaign who felt even a couple of weeks ago it was a lost state. But new numbers, certainly internally, seem to suggest that there's a reason that Donald Trump and Mike Pence should go there and, in fact, hold dual rallies. How do you feel about Virginia right now?
So, don't just take it from me. I would say look at Secretary Clinton's campaign advertising and the fact that they're now backup advertising in Virginia. And one thing you might remember from a couple of months ago, the Clinton campaign took down their advertising in both Virginia and in Colorado, did a little bit of a victory dance and said we have these states wrapped up. As we saw this week, they're backup advertising in both, and so that's a pretty clear signal that the numbers are moving. Obviously, we're seeing our own numbers continue to move in Virginia as they are in Colorado. It's not quite a tie yet, but we're at least in our numbers, we're getting close. Although there was a Hampton University poll that came out yesterday saying that Mr. Trump was ahead by 3, which shows that this is another state that President Obama did very well in the last 2 cycles. Could well be in play. Okay,
so if we agree, any path for Donald Trump includes Florida. Almost as important, perhaps 1A, is Pennsylvania. It had been outside the margin of error. Things are tightening there as well, according to the Real Clear Politics polling averages. But if it goes blue, as it has in recent history, where do you have to go to get what you wouldn't be getting in Pennsylvania? Is it Michigan, Wisconsin? Is it both? How do you make that up?
So Pennsylvania, if Mr. Trump wins Pennsylvania, this election is over. This will be that'll mean that he's winning in so many places that he's in really good shape. And there's so many electoral votes coming out of Pennsylvania that if he wins that, then it's then it's going to be a victory. So obviously our pathway includes Florida, North Carolina, Ohio. We feel very good that we've turned Iowa red, that it's a state that Obama has won the last 2 cycles, but we feel very good about Mr. Trump winning. You look at out west, we feel very good about where Nevada is. New survey yesterday showed us ahead by 6 points. Again, that Colorado survey showing that we're tied. Colorado is another blue state where if we win that likely indicator that we'll probably win the election. Pennsylvania is, we're closing very, very quickly there. It's a very close race. That one's going to, and the other thing on Pennsylvania too, that's largely election day voting only. So you'll see us in Pennsylvania a couple more times before the election is up.
Major Garrett also shared some things that were shared with him again by senior advisors, and regarding the hidden Trump vote and how it quantifies what it is we're seeing, what kind of percentages we're talking about, and he detailed it for us essentially as 2 to 3%, the silent majority, people who maybe are not being counted necessarily by pollsters, 1% reluctant GOP voters who will come next Tuesday just say, all right, I'm with him, and then 1% people who just want to see what happens if Donald Trump wins. But that is 5 points, and as we're seeing this thing close, is it your feeling, is it the campaign's feeling that sort of math, that sort of discrepancy is out there in enough states
Well, I'm going to give you
for an easier path, if nothing else, to 270.
Well, I'm going to give you a counterintuitive take on the hidden Trump vote as well, and that's with the African American community. And Mr. Trump has spent a lot of time on the campaign trail, reaching out, talking to African Americans, saying Hillary Clinton has left you behind, is taking your vote for granted. I'm going to be a president for all Americans. And one of the things that we're seeing in some of our numbers early on is that in a lot of these states, Mr. Trump is getting 10%, 11, 12, 13, even in some places higher percentage of the African-American vote, much higher than President Bush or John McCain or Mitt Romney ever got. And so if Mr. Trump is able to make those types of inroads into the African-American community, as well as in the Latino community as well, where I think we're going to do much better than maybe some of the pundits are giving us credit for. But then obviously we do think that there are a lot of voters who haven't been active in politics in recent cycles who will be showing up for Mr. Trump on Election Day. And so we think there's a pretty big undercurrent of support. But like I said, the counterintuitive part that you might not think is I think Mr. Trump's going to do much better than the typical Republican with the African-American community. It's
believed that obviously with regard to this very specific election, it's going to be a turnout election. To that end, Hillary Clinton is looking to marshal and turn out the Obama coalition of the last two cycles. Early voting suggests that a lot of folks are early voting, but we see the numbers down in terms of African Americans who've gotten to the polls, specifically in North Carolina. However, we're seeing something of a surge with regard to the Hispanic vote. If you then take those as we're reading tea leaves to a degree. What do you think that means for your candidate?
Well, and then I'll also throw in as well that her numbers are way down with millennials and the so-called basement dwellers. I think in certain cases that, as Hillary derisively referred to them as when those tapes came out. But I think the thing that you're seeing here is Democrats and traditional Democratic constituencies are having a tough time embracing Secretary Clinton. And I think part of the reason is she's completely abandoned any sense of a positive message down the home stretch. It's not just enough to give the voters someone to vote for. You have to give them something to vote for. And when her campaign is completely quit putting forward any ideas or anything that they want to go and do, I think it's tough for these voters to show up and say, we can rally around Secretary Clinton, because it's become just pure negativity. And so I think there are real problems with typical, or traditional, I should say, Democratic constituencies. And if they can't find a way to reverse that, then Mr. Trump's optimism, I think, is going to win the day. I
want to get you out of here on this, and I want to play a soundbite from Mr. Trump's speech in Miami yesterday, and I want to get your reaction to it.
But we have 2 more today in Florida, and we have massive crowds. There's something happening. They're not reporting it. Katie, you're not reporting it, Katie. But there's something happening, Katie. There's something happening, Katie.
That's a reference to NBC reporter Katie Tour, who has been outspoken to a degree about what it has been like personally to cover the Trump campaign, and she's added her voice to a number of female journalists covering the Donald Trump campaign, very specifically about the sort of abuse they feel they have taken, both from the candidate but also from his supporters in moments such as these. Is that less than a week out? Is that something that Donald Trump should be doing, calling out a reporter by name like that?
Well, I think with regard to Katie Tur, who's a journalist that we have a great deal of respect for. In fact, I was interviewed by Katie even this past week, and I went on her show, and we've certainly done a number of different interviews with Mr. Trump and with NBC. So she's a journalist we have a great deal of respect for. That was just playful banter from Mr. Trump from the campaign trail.
But that's not how it plays. I mean, it's dangerous, and I just wonder, whether or not Donald Trump believes it to be playful, does he understand what that signals to thousands upon thousands of his supporters who do not see anything playful about this moment in history?
Well, I would respectfully disagree and say that that was just playful banter, and Katie's someone we have a great deal of respect for, and someone who's covered Mr. Trump on the campaign trail for almost a year and a half, and spent a lot of time together on the road, and look forward to continuing to work with her when Mr. Trump is in the White House.
And a year and a half, so that makes it over 500 days. To 5. Truly, down the stretch they come. Jason Miller, very much appreciate the deep dive here into numbers 5 days out. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.